Coach, congratulations on the win. Just want to start off by asking about Julian Hall. Another goal from him. It's a second straight game. Another Mimeti assist. What are you seeing from those two? And are you not even surprised that connection's already blooming?
Sorry, can you guys hear me? They have football and they have personality. And so, as we move through preseason and as we continue to, push our group and start to figure out the best way to put it all together at the beginning of the season, it was more and more clear every day that both of these guys needed to be on the field. And so, they are really talented young players. They both have really good mentalities. They come every day ready to train, ready to work, ready to push themselves. And so, yeah, we're really happy with the progress that they're making. We're really happy for them that now, as they've gotten opportunities, they've showed how good they are. And so we're gonna keep pushing them. We understand that with any young player, with any player in general, not every weekend is going to be perfect. Not every game is going to be their best. But we're going to continue to find the right ways to help these guys and make sure they continue to take the next step.
Next to Christian.
Coach, in terms of sort of the young group and that trio in particular, what has it been going into the first game, this game as well, that's given you the trust to know that they could go out there and be effective and know that they're going to do something on the pitch?
Look, in Audrey's case, in Maddie's case, I spent a lot of time with them last year. I had 6 months with them, and so I saw firsthand every single day their quality, their attitude. I saw that when you challenged them and pushed them, they got even better. I saw that when you tried to help them with little things or coach them on certain details, that you didn't have to repeat yourself many times, that they picked things up pretty quickly. Julian, I had with me once last year with the second team pretty early on. And I watched him closely, every chance I could last year in first team training. And, I watched him in the under 17 World Cup. When was that? November? And I still, there's a lot of football there. There's a lot of potential. And so, I still, that was the starting point. And then when we started preseason, then you set out to create an environment every day where there's good training, where you're creating as many game situations over and over and over again for these guys to have to interpret and make the right decisions and think faster, and still, as everything's flying around, execute with quality, with sharpness. And we've challenged the group to say, look, we want an environment every single day that is fast and dynamic and competitive, and we want guys who show up here every day alive and ready to take the ideas and go with them 1,000%. And so, as I mentioned before, as we move through preseason, it was clear that these guys were responding in really good ways. And as we got closer to the first game, and again this weekend, we felt like they earned the right to be on the field.
Next, we go to Joe.
Michael, for as much of the talk that's been about the free-flowing, the attacking brand of football here, what kind of confidence can come out of a 1-0 result just for the collective unit?
Yeah, it's a great question, and that part is really important. We want to be an aggressive team. We want to go after the game every single weekend. We want to play good football. We want to create chances. We want to score goals. We want to play in the attacking part of the field. But we want to do all of that so we don't give away chances and we don't concede goals. It goes hand in hand. And so I think the better we are with all of everything that I just said, then we're going to be an even better defensive team. And so I'm really, really proud that on a day like today, when we get the first goal, and look, we have some really good chances and good advantages to get the second. I think with time, as we get better and fitter and sharper, that we will be able to get the second goal and give ourselves a little bit more margin. But good teams find ways that on the days when you can't get the second goal, you close up shop and find a way to make sure that you take your 1-0 and you take your 3 points and you move on to the next week. So that part we were really happy with.
Next, go to Party.
Hi. Just going back to something you said a little bit earlier. You said when you were asked about Julian and Audrey that they had football and they had personality. I think I can guess what you mean by football, but what did you mean by personality?
That they're not afraid, that they step on the field and they're not fazed by anything, that they're confident in themselves, their confidence in their qualities, that they understand the football that we want to play and they're going to go for it. You know, we talk over and over and over again about this idea that the game is not perfect. Nobody is. And we're not trying, like, we will never expect perfect. But how many guys can we have on the field that just understand how to play and move and think and react and compete and do it over and over again for 90 minutes? And so that part that's the most important thing. And those guys have shown for young players that the starting points are good.
Next, go to Anthony.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win. The team didn't score, obviously, in the first half, but they looked good. They pressured much as they did in the first game. How impressed are you with the club's composure to be able to come out in the second half and continue the way that they did to eventually find that goal?
Yeah, we feel really good about that as well. You know, we pushed things in a good way in the first half. Obviously, New England came in and wanted to keep things very tight. They stepped up in some set moments in a man-to-man way. But then as soon as we were able to get across midfield, as soon as we were able to break that initial pressure, then they went very, very low, very deep, and they had a lot of numbers behind the ball. And that's not always easy to break down right away. And so we talked at halftime about the idea, you know, keep going. Don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated with the game, with the referee, with the other team. Just keep playing, keep trying to take our ideas and execute them better, more quality, more sharpness, more different ways of getting into the box, ready to, you know, organize behind the ball in terms of then being able to counter press really aggressively and see if we can sustain that and the goal will come. And so, yeah, that part again is a really important quality in a team to not get frustrated when things don't come right away.
Next, go to Eric.
Hey, Michael, can you give a status on two players? First, Matty Dos Santos maxes out his short-term call-ups. What's next for him? And then Ronald Donkor subbed off at half. Was that injury? Was that the yellow card?
Ronnie was feeling a little something, and so we wanted to it's early in the season and we didn't want to take any chances. It's not anything major. It's not anything that we're worried about in a big way. We'll see over the next few days how he's feeling and go from there. Maddie, obviously, as you said, plays his second game, and so we will sit down together very early in the week, myself, Julian, Sam, Tiger, and now figure out the best way to move forward.
Next, go to Sanjay.
Michael, thank you. Everyone's going to see the goal and talk about what the kids did with the ball. Defensively in the second half, the game got stretched at times. What did you see from them in those moments? And then also about Audrey specifically, similarly, like everyone's marveling about what he can do passing the ball, but what are you seeing from him knowing that position as well as you do defensively in that role? Thank you.
Yeah, his his reading of the game and his understanding of situations, his ability to help us press and be aggressive, but also then in other moments, his ability to close certain situations off and take good angles that may not mean that he wins the ball right away, but don't allow the other team to progress forward, that allow a little bit of time for some of our attacking players to come back, and then we can press and be aggressive from there. So his understanding of the game, his savvy for a young player is developing in a good way. You know, we're working closely with him to try to make sure that his understanding of the nuance of different situations and how he can use his physical qualities, but also use his intelligence to really help us. That is what when you look at the best players in the world in that position, they're the reference for their team. And so they're able to, with football and intelligence and personality, and then of course physical qualities to go with it, they're able to do a lot. So Audrey's still young. We are really pleased with how the development is going, and we're going to continue to help him with that. Generally speaking, defensively, you absolutely cannot talk about the game today without talking about the guys in the back. Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy had an excellent game. Dylan Nealis, excellent. Justin Shea, excellent. Ethan Horvath, excellent. Obviously, Matty Dos Santos was very, very good. And then we made the sub just because we're continuing to build his tank and his fitness. And so Juan Mina comes on, helps us finish the game. Jaquil goes to the left. So all of those guys are, they may not be the ones who people think or talk about right away, but they all had really, really good games.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions, Coach. First, we'll go to Sean, then we'll finish up with George. Sean, you have the floor.
Hi, Michael. Obviously, last November, you accomplished something special with the reserve side. Having the opportunity to show your football in front of the fans today, build that connection with the supporters, what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. This stadium is amazing. The stadium itself, the environment, the atmosphere. It's a unique and special stadium, and so I've played a lot of games here, or I've been a part of a lot of games here. As a player, typically on the other end with the national team, 1 or 2, where I got to experience the home support. But then, I had my first taste last year of what it means to be on the right side of things in this stadium, and it's amazing. And so for the home opener, we wanted to make sure that we did everything we could to step on the field and show the team that we want to be, and to show our football and to show our personality, and to make sure that everybody walking out of this stadium this afternoon leaves thinking to themselves that they got to come back.
And we'll finish up with George.
Coach, congrats on another win. I need to ask about the younger guys. Can you just talk a little bit about what you see in them and their composure coming out onto this level, bigger stage? Some of these guys are playing against could be old enough to be their dads. Can you just talk a little bit about the composure that you see from them coming in, day out?
Yeah, look, it's everything that I've touched on in terms of the starting points of the football, but to be a really good player, that's not enough. You need the mentality, you need the personality, you need the courage, you need the resilience. And so, we feel like we have a lot of players, including our young players, that have really good starting points in those ways. And so that is, as a coach, there's nothing better, because again, it's not enough to just have football, just have some skill, just have some quality. The game is too competitive. The game's too fast. It's too dynamic. It's too competitive to think that that's enough. And so we want players, and we want a team that has everything.